Hi, folks. This is Sid from 3 Minute Travel Tips. Welcome to 3 Minute Travel Tips Live. 3 Minute Travel Tips Live is a roundtable discussion with travel professionals and industry bloggers. We're here to talk about vacation topics in a little more detail. Each 30-minute show will feature a segment where we dig just a little bit deeper than our usual 3-minute format. Vacation planning doesn't have to be complicated. We're all about offering video content to help make your vacation experiences memorable. And today's topic is a good example. It gets hot in Florida. Today we're offering some tips for dealing with the heat while visiting Walt Disney World Resort. And we've got the lowdown in 30 minutes or less. First up, we've got Monday Cleghorn. Monday is president and owner of Magic of Mickey Travel. Magic of Mickey Travel is earning quite an honor within the Disney organization. It is recognized by Disney to be an authorized Disney vacation planner. Monday, I see you got a haircut. You look beautiful.
Oh,
How are
thank
you doing
you.
today?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you, Sid?
I'm doing well. Next up, we've got Becky Whittaker. Becky is also with Magic of Mickey Travel, and she's a blogger. Becky, how are things in your neck of the woods?
It's nice and hot down here.
And joining us for the very first time, we have a first-time guest, Kim Brown. Kim Brown is a travel professional with Magic of Mickey Travel, and she's a registered nurse. Welcome to the show, Kim. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Good. Everything's good. Kind of hot too here. So.
Well, it's appropriate with the warm temperatures going around the country, it's appropriate to talk about this for a topic. But before we do, I'd like to share a little bit of news. And this is one of those rare occasions where the news that we're going to talk about actually has something to do a little bit with 3-minute travel tips and Magic of Mickey Travel. Monday, can you describe what's going on?
I can see it. As you said, 3-minute travel tips and Magic of Mickey Travel and 3 other travel agencies have joined together to present a royal coronation breakfast with Anna and Elsa. So we are really excited about that. It's going to be September 24th from 8:45 to 10:15 at Epcot at World Showplace. It's a private event venue. We're really excited, and we are selling tickets right now for that. We've actually sold about 2/3 of the tickets, and we still have some left. So I encourage people to purchase those because it's going to be a huge event. It's called My Royal Coronation, and it's for little princesses and princes, and we're going to coronate them prince and princess for the day, and they will get to be with Anna and Elsa. They'll be able to have their picture made with them, do a meet and greet, and it's a buffet breakfast, and anyway, it's going to be fun. So I encourage you to go to www.disevent.com and purchase your tickets.
Excellent. Well, now, if it's the kind of thing, too, that this event is we're recording this, and the event's going to take place in September 2014, and if you're watching this particular broadcast after that fact, would it be worthwhile, then, though, for the guest to maybe go to that website again, because there may be some other events going on that are worthwhile to check out? Monday, what would you say about that?
Absolutely, Sid. As I mentioned, there's 4 other agencies and, of course, 3-minute travel tips, and we have joined together and created a new company called Disevent, and we will be doing a lot of event planning at Walt Disney World moving forward. So be sure and check out the website and see what events might be coming up. We're actually looking at doing a villains dessert party, so how cool would that be? Be watching for that and other events, maybe some pirate events. Who knows? You never know.
There's a lot of opportunities there, so if you get a chance, go ahead and check it out. I have to admit, it's a really cool thing to see these agencies come together really on behalf of the guest to try to offer something original, unique, to help enhance that guest experience at Walt Disney World Resort. Well, today's topic is a little bit different for us. It's a little more serious in nature, but recently had an opportunity that really kind of illustrated the point to me about the importance of sharing. As a family, we've been visiting Walt Disney World Resort for more than 30 years. We've faced all kinds of weather conditions, rain, freezing temperatures, heat, many occasions. One time, my wife and I visited, and she was 7 months pregnant, and this is in the middle or early June. So you're talking about really some challenging circumstances. But recently, it was about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, we were visiting the park, and around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, something crazy happened. And that was my wife became overheated, and we ended up spending a good bit of time at the first aid station. And, you know, you might not think that you would have to contend with weather conditions while visiting on vacation or something like that, but it does get hot. And after sharing and talking with some of the medical staff at the first aid station, it became apparent that this is something that can happen it's a common experience. So that's where the idea came in, that we wanted to share a little bit about some tips in dealing with those warm temperatures. And I wanted to bring on Kim especially because Kim has a very unique point of view. She's both a travel professional, but she also is a registered nurse, and she can kind of give a little bit of backstory and background about what it's like to be dehydrated and what it's like to go, you know, maybe feeling a little bit under the weather. Kim, tell us a little bit about what is dehydration?
It's just where, you know, you don't have enough water in your body, that you're losing more than what your body needs for your organs to carry on its normal function. So you can have anywhere from headaches, you know, you get your mouth is really dry, skin's really dry, your urine will be dark. So the darker your urine is, of course, the more dehydrated you are. You want to drink enough so that your urine stays as clear, you know, you want to keep it as clear as you can. So, you know, drinking before you get in the heat, drinking, you know, while you're out in the heat, water, mainly water, of course, sports drinks, because, you know, that puts your electrolytes back in, that you know, you lose those when, you know, when you sweat, and you lose some of those in your urine also. And, two important electrolytes are sodium and potassium, and that has to do with your, you know, your heart contracting. And so that's a very important part of your health, of course, is your heart. So you want to make sure that even with the water, I always tell people to do Gatorade also, because that Gatorade water is great, and that's the main one, but the you know, the Gatorade and the sports drinks has the sodium and potassium to, you know, to replace. So, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So basically, with the sports drinks, it has added nutrients, I guess, that allow your body to function a little bit better. Should I guess, what would you say is the strategy as far as replenishing those beverages? How often would you say they should do it?
Really, mainly when someone, you can say every hour if you want to, but when someone starts feeling thirsty at all, it kind of sounds, you know, like a given, but if any thirst, any sign of thirst, you need to drink, because that's your body telling you that, you know, it's getting low, and you know, you want to do what your body's telling you to do. So you can do the every hour thing. I mean, that's always a good thing to stick by, but anytime you feel thirst at all, because you can have, you know, the dry mouth, and then you get, that's the minor things, headache, fatigue, you know, weak. But once you start getting really dehydrated, I mean, you'll have the increased heart rate, blood pressure wants to start dropping, so then you're just feeling like, you know, you're not able to go at all. Your body starts cramping, because when you lose potassium, you start having cramps. So that's that's why you definitely want to get those sports drinks in, to get those electrolytes back in your body, to prevent all that.
So the key is probably once you start recognizing you're thirsty, that's the point when you're going to want to replenish the fluids. And certainly you can do it maybe every hour, on the hour kind of a thing, but it's that very first time, because if you wait too much longer, that's when the potential for, you know, really having some significant symptoms could kind of crop in, and you can go like what happened with my wife, where you know, we got to spend some time in the first aid area. You know, Kim, I think that it's important. It's not something that's critical, but it's something especially you should be cognizant of, would you say, during kind of the late spring, summer months, and even into the fall? I mean, would that be the time window you might be looking at?
Well, of course, mainly in the summer. And really it depends on the person too, because some people are really just really hot natured.
Mm,
That it may not
that's
be that
true.
hot outside, but they still sweat a lot. So it really
Mm.
depends on the person. But of course, the summer is the prime time when when the weather is really hot. But it just kind of depends on the person too, how that person, how their body, you know, just their body.
Excellent, Becky. I kind of was wondering. For us, it was one of the few occasions we'd actually visited first aid. But once a guest is inside the park and maybe they're needing some kind of medical attention, they're starting to feel symptoms. Well, I know this just from a background standpoint. Disney takes guest safety very serious, in a very serious way. It's something that I think they work quite deliberately with their cast members, and they make some facilities. They set aside some facilities for guests when they're having circumstances like that. Can you describe a little bit about what a guest might or should do once they're inside the park and maybe they're having some problems?
Yeah, I sure can, Sid. It's one of those, like you've already mentioned, that there is a first aid station in all of the theme parks, both water parks. And so it's one of those, if you're in the theme parks or the water park and you're starting to feel kind of blah, like you and Kim have mentioned, if you can, head straight over to the first aid, and the medical staff that is there will assist you. It's free to stop in there, so that's not a problem, and they will take good care of you. I've stopped in there for Band-Aids for blisters, and I mean they've got those for you, but then they'll assist you with the heat issues. And then if it's more than they can take on, or it's to the extreme, they will call for a paramedic. There's paramedics stationed at all for the theme parks as well, and the water parks. So you are very well taken care of. So it's one of those, don't be afraid to go and seek help. But it's one of those, if you can't get there on your own, or you've got too many little ones with you, and just logistically, send somebody to get a cast member, and the cast members will assist you, whether it's providing you with a wheelchair to help get you to first aid, or sometimes if you're too far along with the dehydration, they'll call paramedics for you as well, and they'll come to you instead of you going to them.
I know for me it was when we went back there with my wife, the nurse that was working the area. I mean, the first thing she did, she kind of handed us some sports drinks, and then she escorted us to a private area where there were beds and cots set aside specifically for guests to kind of lay down and just kind of cool off and relax. And these are really, it surprised me. It was a good-sized area that they had set aside, and it was the kind of thing that to me it just illustrated that they are trying to take into account guest safety and making sure that if the unthinkable happens where you are kind of overcome with heat, well, they're here to help and provide some assistance. Now,
Exactly.
Would you say, Becky, that from a cast member standpoint, when you're working with cast members, would they all be resources that you could call on to get more information about where to go, or any tips like that?
Exactly, yeah. The cast members will go out of their way. I know I've seen cast members grabbing bags of ice from a restaurant if they were really close to that, for injuries or to help cool you off. Or I've seen them run to the restroom and grab some cold paper towels to help cool you off. But then they're the ones that will they should all know where the first aid station is to be able to direct you to those, or where to grab a wheelchair from, or a telephone to call a coordinator, a manager, paramedics, and whatnot. They're all trained to help you with situations like that.
Now, when you're inside the park too, one of the things you have to keep aware of is that replenishing of beverages.
Yes.
My understanding is, and some people are aware of this and some are not, Disney will provide cups of ice water at no charge at any location. Can you describe a little of that?
Yeah, it's any location that serves fountain drinks. So some of your popcorn stands that have bottled waters and stuff, you won't be able to get the 3 glasses of ice water there. It's only like the quick services with the fountain drinks. But yeah, depending on the location, sometimes they're the really small, like 6-8 ounce cups. Right. But otherwise, I've gotten really tall glasses of ice water. True. And they are free. My husband and I were just at Hollywood Studios on Saturday. It was really hot in the afternoon, and I stopped by a couple quick services, and you just stand in line like normal and just ask them for 2 glasses or a glass of ice water, however many you need. And usually, especially in the warmer months, they will have cups behind the counter already lined up, ready to go, and they just hand them to you, and off you go.
That's funny. To me, it's a cool thing to have. Some folks realize it, some folks don't. When we were inside the first aid area, the medical staff person had mentioned it. For them, they had noticed a trend of peak hours where they were the busiest in dealing with dehydration, and they said it was between roughly 3 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. almost every day. And Monday I was kind of wondering, there are certain advantages, you might say, that a guest can take advantage of depending on what type of vacation they may have booked, where they're staying and all that. Would there be some options for them to maybe avoid those times? I mean, what would you recommend to a guest at that point?
Absolutely. By being a resort guest staying on at a Walt Disney Resort property, you would be able to go back to your resort and maybe swim for a little while, or relax in your room, and you're right there at the parks. So it's just a quick bus ride or a monorail ride back to boat ride back to the resort, and it makes it so convenient for the guests because they don't have to go to the parking lot, find their car, get in their car, drive back to their hotel that's off property, then come back, and they've lost quite a bit of time in that time frame. And by staying at one of these resorts, one of the Disney resorts, you have it's so convenient that you can just, like I said, just jump on a monorail and go back to your resort and take a nap or go to the pool. And then also extra magic hours. I mean, by staying at a Disney resort, you get to take advantage of extra magic hours, and so you're going to be able to go into the park. Certain parks have morning extra magic hours, and some have evening extra magic hours. So you can take advantage of that. Go in earlier and spend your time there earlier, and then again go back to your resort and go to the pool for a little while. Go back and take advantage of extra magic hours in the evenings, and of course it's much cooler then. And even the water parks, you could head over to the water parks or to Downtown Disney, to Disney Quest, and it's indoors and nice, cool, air conditioned. And the same thing with while you're in the parks, if you feel yourself getting overheated, and you definitely, like Kim said, get something to drink, but also go into a show that's air conditioned, or a ride that's air conditioned to cool off. And I also want to mention, sometimes we don't really think about our babies, our little ones getting overheated. I mean,
Absolutely.
Right.
And they can get overheated quickly, and they do have baby care centers, and they're nice and cool. Take your little one in there for 15 or 20 minutes and let them cool off, and watch they have TVs in there for them to watch. And it's not something that you just want to pack a bunch of people into, but it is an opportunity for you to go in there with your little ones and just cool off for a little bit.
I think you kind of nailed it there, and that there are options for guests whether you're actually staying on property or if you're a day guest. It's the kind of thing that you can try to avoid some of those peak temperature times with either visiting a pool or visiting the water park, even getting a park hopper kind of option where you're able to go somewhere else basically to cool off. And the idea of spending time in shows and things like that during those peak times are important. I'd be kind of curious, and I'm going to throw this out to each of you ladies. Where would your favorite place be if you had to hang out for just a short period of time and you wanted to avoid the heat? Where would you go? And Monday, maybe I'll toss it to you first. Where would you go?
Well, I would go to Finding Nemo the musical. I love that show, and I would definitely go in there, sit down, cool off. It's so nice and cool in there, and just a wonderful show. So, and that's over at Animal Kingdom. So even if I'm at the Magic Kingdom and I want to cool off, I might just hop over to Animal Kingdom and go to Nemo.
Becky, if you were to go somewhere to cool off just for a short period of time, where would you go?
I would probably head off to the Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean at the Magic Kingdom. They're both slower rides. Most of the queue lines are inside, so I would definitely head there.
Kim, where would you go if you wanted to cool off for a short period of time?
That's exactly what I was going to say, the boat rides. I always love the boat rides, and they're slow and cool. So boat rides are my type of ride. I like the roller coasters, but boat rides are good to cool off. So.
Well, and Splash Mountain would be a fantastic one,
That's true. Splash Mountain.
That would cool you off.
Yeah, it would.
That would be. I think for me, it's probably one of my most personal favorites of all the attractions. That's Mickey's PhilharMagic. That great place to cool off. The lines usually aren't outrageous. And you've got such a wonderful story and experience. But, I hate to say it, but we're to the point where we need to start wrapping it up. And before we do wrap it up, we always have a feature that we call our tip of the day. And Monday, I'd like to maybe toss it to you first. What is your tip of the day?
Well, I'm going to stay on topic since we're talking about getting overheated, and just throw in a little bit of a plug here for my family. My family happens to own Frog Togs, so those are fantastic to have with you if you want to. You actually get them cool in water, and they'll stay cool all day long. You just wrap them around your neck and keep you cooled off. And also these little things. Be sure to have these with you, or those misters, the spray fan misters. And there are also misters in the parks. So if you're hot, do something about it.
Wow, that's excellent, excellent. Becky, what is your tip of the day?
Well, I know some of my friends, they don't like the taste of the water that they can get at the Magic Kingdom, even though it's free, or at any of the parks, even though the waters are free, but they still like to take their own water bottles. So what I have found are these, I don't know if you can see them, they are, it's a flexible rubberized ice cube trays, but they're for sticks instead of cubes. And you can take those to the resorts, throw them in your freezer the night before, and they'll be ready for you in the morning. You could take ice and throw them in your water bottles, so you'll have some ice to start out with for your day.
Oh wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Kim, you're new to the program, new to the show, but I don't want to not include you. What would you suggest what is your tip of the day?
Well, I'm kind of off the subject, but or off our topic rather, but just wanted to remind everybody that you can do more fast passes now after you use your 3 that you do online. On My Disney Experience, you can actually go to kiosk in all the parks, and you can get other fast passes. So, and you can do that there at all the parks, and the kiosks are listed on your maps for the locations. So, but you have to do it after you use your third fast pass that you've done online.
Excellent, excellent. Well, my tip of the day has to do with the 4th of July. My understanding is they're going to have some special fireworks over at the Magic Kingdom. What was described to me was almost like, I may not do it justice, but what was described to me was almost like a 360-degree experience where fireworks will almost encircle the entire park. My understanding is it's spectacular. And my tip actually has to do with where to watch it. I would suggest that instead of, while it could be cool to see it inside the park, you might want to head out over to the Polynesian Resort and stand on the beach area so that you can see the reflections of the fireworks in the water. Now there are there's some construction going on right now as we, at the time of this recording, where you might have some limited access. But if you were to get on the monorail and head on over to that area and then go down on the beach, you'd probably get some pretty neat looking. It'd probably be a pretty neat experience. But with that, I think we're to the point where we need to wrap it up. And ladies, thank you for joining us today. And I'd like to thank all the viewers as well for tuning in. Monday, if folks wanted to reach you, what's the best way that they can reach out and contact you?
They can contact me at monday@magicofmickey.com, or you can go to our website at www.magicofmickey.com.
Excellent. Becky, you've got a blog as well as email. Where do they need to go to maybe check out your blog, and what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
You can reach to me personally at Becky@magicofmickey.com, and the blog is magicofmickeytravel.weebly.com.
And Kim, if folks wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way that they could contact you?
Through my email. It's kimb@magicofmickey.com.
Wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you again for joining us. And, well, that's it. In 30 minutes or less, for all your Disney travel needs, reach out to any of the dream makers at Magic and Mickey Travel. And for more travel tips, please subscribe below or check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. You can also check us out at our blog website. That's 3minutetraveltips.com. Thanks for watching.